Hey y'all, welcome to Girl Me Screen. My name's Norma, your host of whatever. And today we're talking Perfect Match Season 3. And I'm not gonna lie to you, episode 1 started and I was like, who are these people? Why they here? Who cares? Granted, like I think I watched one Too Hot to Handle. I haven't seen Temptation Island. What other shows are they from? The Bachelor. I haven't seen any of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. So yeah, a few of these people I was like, who are they? And so maybe the people who watch those shows, it's like a huge deal. But not for me because I don't know them. But anyways, it does get interesting fairly quickly and we were able to get on board with the show. I'm mostly going to be talking about the pairings and like what's going on with the pairings. If I have to say something about an individual person, I will. But yeah, so I'm not going to be going like, this happened and then this happened and this happened. Kind of, but more so about the couples. So episode 1 starts with some strange, I guess, like sexual challenge. And whatever. It gave me Love Island flashbacks and I just could not do it. These are the people that end up coupled up, I guess like mid-episode. We've got Daniel and Lucy, who seem very cute to begin with. Ollie and AD, which as we all know, in present time, aren't engaged, are pregnant. Maybe they might be legally married, who knows. Then we have Louie and Sandy, as we may or may not know. I keep saying as we all know. As we all may or may not know, Louie's in some controversy because he is now seeing Huda. And personally, I think it's got to be some sort of publicity stunt by him and her, honestly, because they literally started seeing each other as soon as she exited the villa. Now, unless they knew each other beforehand, like this doesn't make a ton of sense. And based on things I've heard and seen of Louis, he is giving Cloud Chaser a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Louis and Sandy match up. Then we have Cody and Madison and Juliet and Clayton. Like I said, I don't know a lot of, listen, the only people I know are Ollie and AD, Louis and Sandy, and Madison. I think the rest are like Bachelor and maybe Temptation Island. I'm not completely sure. I think Lucy was a Bachelorette. I don't know. Anywho, A and Ollie vibing instantly. They're instantly attracted to each other, instantly fucking with each other, which was interesting to me. Next challenge we have, it's basically suck and blow. I forget what he calls it. But they are like on this raft in the water. There's a rope above them. And they have to basically take these little cards, suck and blow, right? Put them like their mouths on either side. And that's how they have to get the card with the rope to the other side. First team to do 3, I think, wins. Madison and Cody win. Madison proceeds to talk about how Cody's breath is not the best and how he could use a ton of script. And that's a little bit crazy to me. That's a little bit crazy to me that you would say that on National. I'm sorry. I don't like her. Like, she'd be messy. She'd be petty. She'd be mean. Because that's mean, if you ask me. I'm sorry. And I get it's reality TV. But, like, that's something that sticks with someone, for one. And for two, that's something that you say to them privately. Like, if you really feel that way, say it to them privately. Say, like, you know, it's something we could fix. But just to let you know, they go on this fire throwing date, right? They're throwing the little sticks with fires at the end. It looks fun. They have a good time. We get to the boardroom, and they make some boardroom decisions. The men on the board are Jalen, Carrington, JR, and Freddie. JR and Freddie are the only 2 I know. And Freddie, we love us some Freddie. I love Freddie. And we'll talk about it. So yeah. We get into episode 2. This is where we find out that they decide to set up Juliet on a date with Carrington, and Madison sends herself on a date with Freddie, which is so sad because Cody was like locked into Madison for whatever reason, not so now. So he's upset. He's like, yeah, she's not the one for me. Like, if she felt the need to go on a date, she ain't for me, and I gotta go. So yeah, that's a thing. Juliet and Carrington go surfing, and Madison and Freddie go on a picnic, it seems like. Cody is like going off about Madison. You know, Nick always usually shows up after the dates and is like, how'd it go, yada yada. Cody, how you feeling, right? And he's just kind of like, he trash talks her like a little bit, like a mild trash talking. And she's like, ugh, forget him, whatever. And so then I think it's Julia or someone that's like, oh, like, would you mind if I talk to Cody? Seems like you're not interested anymore. And she's just like rolling her eyes and doing all the extra stuff. And they're like, you want him gone, huh? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, baby girl, nobody cares. Like, what the fuck? Ugh. It literally felt like her freaking season of Love is Blind all over again. Like, the way, yes, Alex turned out to be a piece of dookie. But again, it was just like that, like, oh, I don't like him, so like, get him away from everyone. Like, he deserves nothing. Like, that type of energy. Okay, so our new couples. See, we're just rolling through this. Our new couples are AD and Ollie, Sandy and Louie, Lucy and Danielle, Madison and Freddie, and Juliet and Clayton. Unfortunately, Carrington and Cody go home. So let's talk about where we're at with the couples now. There wasn't really a need to talk about the first group of couplings because it was short-lived, and anyone who was worth talking about is in this like next set of couples, you know. AD and Ollie, as I said, they're like instantly connecting. Like I'm enjoying them. The only thing is we'll get into about them with the rest of this episode. But they're solid. I like them. Sandy and Louie, I could like them if I didn't already have all this stuff about Louie recently. And then also, we all know how like Sandy was in her season of The Ultimatum. So it's like, I want to like them because they seem to really like each other. But also, I'm just like, they might both be playing the game. They might both be like just having fun. Like, it's just, I'm unsure when it comes to them, you know? Lucy and Daniel are very, very cute. Things shift a little bit for me, but they are cute. Like, it is a cute little vibe they got going. Madison and Freddie, I don't like him for Freddie. I love Freddie, and he's such a little freaking sweetheart. He's a little funeral director. Like, come on. I don't know. I just don't like them together at all. I'm like, I don't think she makes sense for him, but okay. If they like it, I love it. And then Juliet and Clayton are cute, but Juliet starts to find him boring. I think we'll talk more about that next episode. But yeah, those are my thoughts on them. We have a compatibility challenge. Basically, there's these TVs. It's like a quote with like, oh, what would be like, what's your favorite name to be called during sex? And then like each screen would have a name someone likes to be called. The guys will pick the one that they're like, oh yeah, I like that one best. And then the girls will stand under the one that is their name or their quote or their whatever. And it's basically, they get points for every time the guy picks his match's thing, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Ollie and AD win that one, and they're sent on a cooking class date. And then they are at the boardroom, and they have Rachel, Alex, Hannah, and QC. I don't know any of these women, but these are the women on the board that they could choose from. So jumping into episode 3, they send Freddie on a date with Rachel, and Alex on a date with Louie. Ollie fought to have Alex there, and AD was like, I think he wanted her there, and I think he did, boo. And you should have been like, we ain't doing that. If you don't want to go on a date with her, you want to get to know her, we don't need to do that. But I guess I can see why, like, you wouldn't do that, right? Because it's like, let's see what he does. Because he does try to flirt with Alex, which is like, ugh. But Freddie and Rachel have a painting date. Louie and Alex have a date on the river, I think. Madison weaponizes her tears to the max. I don't care what anyone says. She weaponizes her tears. When she finds out about the date, she's like crying, and he's trying to like calm her down. And Ollie says it. He's like, she's using her tears to manipulate him. Like, because she is. Like, what are you crying about? First, you just met. Second, like, you went on a date. Like, no. It was just her trying to ensure that he would like feel guilty for even enjoying the date. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not gonna, like, your partner was just like in tears and then you leave on a date and you're like, fuck that, gonna have fun. No, you're gonna be like thinking about that and trying to like be respectful or like not do too much. Ollie did not know that Rachel and Clayton are bachelor exes. I believe he was the bachelor and she was one of the girls on his season, and he chose between her and another girl, but like I think it was like right at the end, like almost proposal. Or he like ended up sleeping with both of them and expressing feelings of love for both of them, and I'm assuming ended up choosing the other girl. Didn't choose Rachel. is what I'm trying to get at. And so that's like she's like heartbroken. They both see each other and they're like, oh my god, this has to mean something. This has to mean something. And so yeah, he lets Juliet know that he's gonna pick Rachel, and she's livid, pissed, furious. Which doesn't really make much sense to me, because she felt like during the compatibility challenge, like, oh, he's boring. Like, oh, it's so boring, so boring. You see her like rolling her eyes every time one of his responses was boring. And so to me, what are you mad about? You don't like him. Like, she was just mad she went home. Louis hears Sandy chatting shit. He hears her talking hella shit about him. And so he's like, oh, I don't like that. Like, what is that about? Because she said something about like, oh, let's see if you can handle him. And so he was kind of like, so you're saying like you just deal with me? Like, that shit hurts. I guess he has a thing with like people thinking his personality is too much or something. I don't know. And so he was like, it wasn't nice to hear you say you had to handle me. Like, you don't actually like my personality, blah, blah. They still match up. They are on that toxic shit where it's like, you like it. Sandy's really toxic. She's very pick me a little bit, in the sense of being like, yeah, I'm that girl that's like, I need you to let me yell at you a little bit, like, tell you to shut up, tell you like, don't piss me off, like, and for you to think that's hot. Okay, so our current matches, or I guess like new matches, we've got Ollie and AD still, Daniel and Lucy still, Louis and Sandy still. Now we have Clayton and Rachel, and we still have Madison and Freddie. And then we have the kissing challenge, and this does upset a couple of couples. So obviously they've got headphones, blindfolds, kissing, rating each other, all of that. And Sandy did not rate Louis a 10. He's upset by that she rated someone else a 10. And then we have Daniel, who's embarrassed because Lucy claims to have confused him for Ollie because Ollie gave her a hug. And I have to agree with Daniel on this one. I don't believe that, because Daniel does not have a beard and Ollie has like a big one. She would have felt that and known this is not Daniel. I think she used that as a cover. I don't think she did anything maliciously. I think she was just like, they were like, hey, rate your kisses. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna rate my kisses. That was the best one. That was a 10. And then realized like, oh shit, that's not my partner. Like, oh, I thought it was you. Ha ha ha. You know, that's what I think happened, if you're asking me. Conspiracy, allegedly. Sandy and Clayton win this date. So apparently for this one, like a random guy and a random girl could win. It wasn't gonna be a couple. I think it was the two people who got the most high scores. So they go on like a little camping date. They're like sitting in front of a fire with like an RV behind them. Very cool stuff. Clayton is trying to see what's up, and Sandy is like, I just want to go home to Louis. Like, I'm good. Jumping into episode 4, I don't even know if I'm even counting what episodes we're on, but episode 4, Lucy is crying because of Daniel being embarrassed. He comes and kind of apologizes and is like, I should have worded that better, which becomes a pattern, and I'm seeing a little bit of toxicity from my Daniel. He seems to be working on it, but still a little concerning. AD makes a comment about when they see that Daniel and Lucy are arguing and Lucy's crying. AD is kind of like, he kissed her so fucking hard she thought it was her man. Like, what? He went so fucking hard, he thought that was her man. And now Clayton is unsure of Rachel, and I hurt for her, bro, because like she almost got engaged to this man. Like, she was in love with this man, wanted to marry him. She shows up here. This man is like, this is kismet. We have to try this again. She's like, yes. I don't know if I used kismet right. My bad. But she's like, yes, we have to try this again. And next day, he turns around and he's like, actually, my intuition is telling me that this is not it. I'm so sorry. Sir, that's diabolical. The only saving grace for him is that I genuinely don't think he did that intentionally. I think he says to her later on, I think he was caught up in the moment and feelings and just like went with that instead of like slowing down and thinking. Sandy and Clayton were the winners, and so they are choosing between Ray, Scott, Jalen, and JR. JR is the only one I know of this group of men. And so they send JR and AD on a date, and then Scott and Rachel on a date. I don't remember what Scott and Rachel do. JR and AD do ceramics. Ollie, losing it about AD going on a date. He's like, would you want me to be happy about my woman going on a date? She goes, do I look good? He's like, you want me to tell you look good going with somebody else? Bugging. Wildin'. Absurd. He's tight. He's stressed. Whole time he's stressing. Whole time he's flipping out. He's like, I'm gonna throw some chairs. Da 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 da. And she walks into the freaking place holding hands with JR. And I was like, this girl know what she doing. This girl know what she doing. We got Ollie crashing out. And then, of course, we got JR entering the house like, I'm gonna steal your girl. He's like, I can steal any girl. I'm taking your man. JR is on his Andreina time. And just like Andreina, he's taking no man. I remember that. But you get it. We go into episode 5. JR is flirting with everybody. Everybody. He tries Sandy, realizes Sandy is like, no, I'm not going with you. He tries Rachel, and he tries AD. I think those are the 3. I think maybe him and Lucy talk for like a second. No, I don't think I don't know. He talks to a few women. And basically they all end up choosing their partners and not JR. Scott comes in and he is like, I'm getting a place in this house and that's all that matters. He tries to talk to Madison, tries to talk to Lucy, but Lucy's like, you're too young, that's not happening. Basically, we see Scott like trying to talk to all the women, just make sure he can stay in the house. And then obviously he goes to Rachel when he realizes that like everyone's kind of already like set in their places and being like, it was you. Like when I told you turn around, shut up. And I hate this for her. Okay, so our mid-episode couples are Madison and Freddie, Sandy and Louie, Lucy and Daniel, Rachel and Scott, and AD and Ollie. So all the same people except for Rachel and Scott. So next we have some compatibility challenge with balls. They are basically hoisted in the air on these like hexagon glass platforms, and they have to like twerk and shake to get the balls out of like 2 holes that are on opposite ends of this hexagon. So they're like in this case and they have to shake them all out. And I guess whoever gets them all out first wins. Lucy and Daniel win and they're sent on a date, and then they find out that they will be sending someone home. So Nick has them organize the couples from like most compatible to least. And then basically the 2 most compatibles, they have to send 1 person from each of the couples on a date. So on the board, there's 2 guys and 2 girls. And whoever they do not choose for a date goes home. Going in episode 6, they decide to send Madison and Ollie on dates, which means Freddie and AD are going home. 80s boohoo crying, Madison boohoo crying. Now here's where I get a little confused. Everybody acting like this is my guy, this is my guy, this is my girl. Why not leave with them? There has to be a choice, right? That's just me though. Madison and Ollie are sent on their dates, and it turns out they will be on a date with 2 people. Both guys are with Madison, both girls are with Ollie. They're brought back to the house. Ollie smiling ear to ear. The girls are all like, what the fuck is Ollie? Like, what is this shit? What is this shit? And this gonna bite Ollie in his booty. And I'm not gonna lie, the way this man is moving, okay, like their love story after the show better have been amazing. Like, something better redeem this shit. Because the red flags that are red flagging right now, and the fact that they're like engaged with a baby on the way, like, I don't know. And I hope that she knows. Like, I hope he sat down and told her everything. Scott starts cop blocking because he don't want to go home. So he's trying to get, like, the guys that came in to definitely, like, pick someone else. Rachel and Sandy are talking, getting to know the other guys. This obviously starts this whole thing with Sandy and Louie. She starts weaponizing her tears, which literally she was doing exactly what she did on the ultimatum, which is, like, how she gets people to feel bad for her, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so she's like crying and was like, all I was thinking about was you on that day and this is how you're acting. And he reasonably so, he's like, I'm just trying to tell you like what I was feeling. Like, no need to be crying and doing all that. Lucy is talking to one of the guys and Daniel feels she's laughing a little too loud. And see, this is where it's like, Daniel, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. Considering, by the way, that Daniel said he would consider sending himself on a date. So, of course, she's going to talk to these men and laugh with these men. The fuck? Men like that, see that? I didn't even think about that till right just now. Get away from that man, girl. Get away from it. Because what do you mean, oh, I'd consider sending myself on a date? And she's laughing too loudly for your liking with a guy. And so now, like, what do you mean, sir? So again, he's like, you embarrassed me once already. And so now she's crying. And she's like, I can't do anything right with you. And he's like, no, there's only men. And now he's backtracking. And like, I'm learning with you. I only want to be with you. Daniel. Okay, so essentially we're kind of just seeing all the dynamics play out, and then we end up with these couples. Madison and Jalen, Ollie and Justine, Sandy and Louie, Lucy and Daniel, and Rachel and Scott. The other couples, cool, solid, whatever. Daniel and Lucy, Daniel got some work to do, but Madison and Ollie, it obviously just seems too new to like comment on. But Madison though is clearly still wanting Freddie, because she matches up with Jalen, but it almost seems as more of like a we could win this together than anything, you know, because she's like, for challenges, he's like, I got you, we'll win, no problem, especially if it involves picking you up, like, got it. So it seems like it was more of like a strategic play than anything else. Love that for Freddie, I guess. Hopefully she proves me wrong, y'all, because I love my little Freddie. Okay, couples are matched up. I believe, yes, we wake up the next day and we have that whole, like, they're going to spend a day with all of the people that were, like, sent home. So, like, all the guys that were sent home, all the girls that were sent home will come back. And they're going to guys are spending a day with those girls are spending a day with those guys, right? The guys, of course, are disgusting about it, right? Oh, like, what is it? When the cat's away, the mice will play. Ha, 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 ha. And Ollie is the one saying that dumb shit. Daniel is like, this is a hall pass type of situation. I'm so, like, thrown off because, like, he really presented, like, Lucy was it. Lucy was everything. And this is the type of shit that I'm like, I just don't want to be with nobody ever in a serious capacity. Because for him to be that good at, like, only have eyes for you, and then turn around and be like, we'll pass. Damn, dog. Like, what do you mean? Ollie is looking at all the girls, excited, right? Little bit of a hand motion. He didn't do that, but probably not. I don't know. Probably did. Who knows? And then he sees AD. And he's like, oh, we're all screwed. And why he said that? Because AD about to tell all them girls about what y'all up to in here. Yeah, that's how the episode ends. We get the little, like, upcoming stuff, and obviously, like, you know, it's gonna be drama, we all know that. One of the things that stood out to me was hearing AD being like, if that's disrespect, what the fuck do you think you did to me, or something, and like, she's about to go off. And so I'm, like I said, hopefully this justifies this, because right now it's not looking good for you, Ollie. The editing is not looking good for you, and I hope they do some sort of podcast episode talking about it or something. That's all I have for you on episodes 1 through 6. I am so hyped to watch 7 and 9. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on these couples? Let me know. Subscribe for more content like this, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.